This is the Stihl MS290. It comes from a long line of Farmboss chainsaws that Stihl made. It used to be called the 029. I've run one of these for almost 15-20 years, and they are a wonderful all-purpose saw. That's why we chose it to rent. Stihl has built in every safety feature I've seen in the market into the saw, which is nice. Let's quickly let me just say that this isn't a substitution at all for reading the manual. This is just to kind of show you what the manual is talking about, so you can see in your mind's eye what they're telling you to do. First and foremost, Stihl's made one significant advancement in gas cap and oil cap simplicity. Used to be that you had to put a screwdriver in these to twist and turn them back in the day. Then they moved to a different type of gas cap similar to this without this black mark system. It was difficult to line up and make sure that you got it right. Now Stihl's made it, for lack of a better term, idiot proof to line these up. I like it because occasionally I'm an idiot. So if I twist this and take it out, you'll see that there's 3 lineups to insert this in. So you line roughly, you can kind of feel it, you line those up. When you twist the cap, you'll see that these 2 lines line up. Once you've done that, you put this cap in properly, and you're good to go, and you're not going to leak gas. Every time you change gas, always change oil. We rent these saws out with the maximum amount of oil being put onto the chain possible. It helps to keep the, frankly, it's safer running it that way. So unless you really know what you're doing, leave it that way. Stihl chainsaws start the same way every way. There's the off position. There's 4 switches here. The off position, then there's operating position, and then I like to call it, there's choke level 2 and primary choke level 1. Whenever you start a chainsaw or Stihl saw, you put it all the way down on choke primary level 1. You pull the chainsaw once until you get a start. You hear it kick over, and then you can, with your finger, move it up to the 3rd position. And at that position you pull it again, and as soon as the chainsaw starts running, you can pull your trigger and it automatically drops to operating. That's the sequence you must follow quickly when you're starting a chainsaw. So let me demonstrate that once. The manual shows you a couple of ways of starting a chainsaw safely. One of them is on the ground using this foot piece, and you'll hear it kind of start on the first pull, hopefully. Yeah, that turnover is the right noise you want. Now I turn this to the 2nd level of choke, and now you'll hear it start on full bore, and you'll see me quickly reach down and grab the trigger, and when I pull the trigger it drops it down to idle. See? That's how it works. So it's been warmed up enough now I can probably start it at operating, on the operating setting. And you can hear that it's operating. You start the saw, the directions will tell you to start the saw with the chain brake on. I expect you to read the manual to understand what that means. Chain brake's awesome. A couple of things it does wonderfully well is, in theory, if you have kickback, when the saw kicks back, the centrifugal force of the kickback activates the mechanism. It also is nice because if you're cutting and you feel unsafe at all, you can bump it with the front of your arm and stop the saw immediately. We rent these with chaps and Stihl's helmet system. In terms of everything else in the way of safety, if you look at the manual, it talks about gloves, boots. Wear the appropriate safety gear on these. Last thing, the manual will point out that there are 2 times that you need to adjust this chain blade. You adjust it once to the proper tension when the chain is cold, and then when the machine is up to operating temperature, you check your blade again. And that way you know for certain that the sag when the metal heats up, or when all metal heats up, it expands. When it expands on a chain, it gets looser. You want to check it when it's hot so that it doesn't get so loose that this chain can pop out of your guide. You want it tight enough that it stays in the guide, but not so tight that the chain won't slide on the guide smoothly. If you over tighten it, you have one problem. If you under tighten it, you have another problem. Make sure you know what you're doing, read your manual, and have a lot of fun with the Farmboss. This thing's a winner.